Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break because we just wrapped up with Side Twinkle versus SSLT versus the Starving Camels, and now we are here with our second and final matchup of this broadcast. It is going to be Shopify Rebellion versus Mystery Gaming, and this is a very high-profile lineup here, high-profile match because Shopify, they're looking strong this season. They're looking much better than the previous. They are on fire, and they have yet to lose a series. They've yet to drop a series. Mystery Gaming, they've been stumbling their way in, and just because they've been going up some pretty big teams, but they are no slouches. As Mystery Gaming, of course, they have players like Ragnarok, players like Bunny, and we are diving on in. I just sneezed. In the bottom right, we have Lambo. In the top left for Mystery Gaming, it is Shin, aka Ragnarok. Still something that I'm getting used to. Things are happening. I'm sneezing. I'm sorry. It is going to be a pull first. It is a pull first out of Ragnarok. And again, oh god. Again, it is still something that I'm getting used to. For those that do not know, Ragnarok did go for a name change. Feel spring, man. Okay, we're back. Ragnarok did have a name change a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of the season of WTL, and Ragnarok now goes by Shin. Shin is a part of his IRL name, so I guess he wants to rebrand as his name, I guess. I have a hard time because whenever I say Shin, I want to say ramen. You know, like it just one comes with the other, so I'm still just wrapping my brain around it in general, unfortunately. But we are getting into our game here, of course, a ZVZ between Lambo and Shin. And again, Shin did go for a faster spawning pool for a delayed hatchery. Meanwhile, Lambo went for a hatch gas pool opener instead. So a standard opener out of Lambo. A bit of a safer or more aggressive opener here out of Shin. He's going to be banking a lot on these Lings. Lings, they do move out across the map, hoping to get some damage done. Back at home, Shin, he does have delayed gas as a result, and he should be working towards something like 2-base Roach. But that gas is a little bit earlier than we usually expect to be seeing here if we wanted to go 2-base Roach, I should say. So I'm curious what it's going to be used for. A nice hold position here. It's catching these Lings. Oh my god. Papi, Shin does catch 2 Lings. He's getting a lot of damage done here on the base itself. A really good start here for Shin, but he cannot, or he will not, get on top of those drones. So Lambo has a bit of a worker lead. That hatchery, though, getting very low. Queen does pop out, and Shin has to get the hell out of here. Tries to take a fight here against these Lings. Does force out extra Lings as well, as he does back off. Again, rush distance by ground is quite short on Golden Aura, so you can get away with being a little bit more aggressive like this. And I'm really curious to see what the gases are going to be spent on here. Lambo, he's banking up quite a lot himself. Again, because pull first typically lead into 2-base Roach play, Lambo, he isn't actually committing into link speed yet. I think he wants confirmation first as to what's going on before he goes into like a lair and a Roach Warren of his own. He doesn't want to get caught off guard. Queens, they do move in, and Ragnarok, Shin does deny the scouts, does chase down that Ling, and the wall is being thrown down. Likewise, Lambo actually going to be delaying his wall, going for... No, yeah, he's going for it. I was like, is he going to expand on it? He's going for his wall. Lair is on the way for both players, pretty on par with each other, and this is 2-base Roach. So, again, this makes a lot of sense from Ragnarok, and it makes a lot of sense from Lambo. Basically, the way that this dynamic works is that because Ragnarok did delay his gases, it typically isn't worth going to link speed and going to banelings of your own. So you stay on 2 bases, you wall off, and you go 2-base Roach. Meanwhile, Lambo is aware of this, is aware that Shin, because of his early pool opener, it is unlikely that he's going to invest his gas into link speed and banelings. So Lambo also doesn't want to waste his gas either, because he's aware that we're going to be getting into the Roach phase of the game. So likewise, he also walls off, doesn't get link speed, and we're getting into Roach v Roach. We are getting into it. Now, this is also where some mind games can come into play, and some Zerg players actually still get link speed, and they try to link flood the opposing player to catch them off guard, and that can work. That has killed Dark many times, for example. That is kind of like something that you have to be wary of. But for the most part, both players, they do skip link speed, and they are just getting into their openers. Third bases are on the way, plus on range, roach speed as well. The other thing that you can do here is to tech up in a different direction and pretend like you're going 2-base roach, and instead you save your gas and you go into mutas and spire instead. And both players need to make sure that that isn't happening for the opposing player. So scouting is very important as we get into this to make sure that no one is rushing into mutas. We can see that neither player is, but again, both players still need to confirm that. And again, this is a good map for roaches as well, just because of the rush distance by ground. Overseer dives in, and Lambo, he confirms that there is no second gas in the main. Likewise, Changeling comes in from Shin, and he also confirms the lack of Spire from his opponent. So both players, they just scatter each other, and they have both confirmed that it is Roach v Roach. So now that we have that out of the way, now we can just focus on roach production. We're saturating our third base, and we will eventually work towards a +2 timing. Before that +2 timing though, Shin, he's already here. He wants to try to break into this third, but the defender's advantage on this map is just so good. Yeah, we are going to be able to hold on. Again, one of the other big features of Golden Aura, not just the rush distance, but also a very defendable third and fourth base. The entryways here into the third and fourth are very narrow ramps. Because of that, very difficult. Even if you are even, or even if you're ahead in army supply when it comes to roaches, you still cannot push up that ramp if your opponent's in position, if they have the concave. Oh, nice snipe though, as Lambo loses another one of his overlords, and in this supply block, he throws down a Spire. Now, again, it's not a fast Spire, we're not rushing into it. This Spire, it looks like it's mainly for map control. Another Changeling comes in, and it looks like Shin may have seen that. I believe that was one of Shin's Changelings, not one of Lambo's. But again, the Spire should just be for map control, just to clean up overlords. I believe Lambo is still going to be focusing on his Roach army. Likewise, so is Shin. And Shin, he responds with his own Spire as well. Lings, they go in just to confirm the scout. So now we know 100% that Shin is aware of the mutas that are going to be on the way. And with a later Spire, Shin may opt to go into Corruptors instead. Once again, really good scouting from both players. Changelings all over the place. Both aware of each other. The other interesting thing here in this dynamic, as of course Limbo has the faster mutas and he does scout. Oh my god, the contamination! I was about to say that Shin is going to have a 2-1 timing over his opponent with Carapace, but Carapace is heavily delayed with that contamination, so very nicely done by Lambo. Mutas are hitting the field. The mutas are on the way. Again, they're not designed to end the game, but they are designed to take away some of the map control and even dive on these roaches as Shin is pushing in. He knows he's on the timer. He knows he has to get damage done, but alas, he is pushed back. Shin was maybe hoping that Lambert was banking up more resources for more mutas, but again, only enough mutas for map control coming out. We're not committing, not too much. And here we go. This ramp is going to be held. Good positioning here from Lambo. Shin trying to force his way in, but this is going to be a rough trade for him. He will eventually break into that natural base, but he's taking a lot of hits, a lot of losses. He is breaking through, and how much economic damage can he deal? How many workers can he kill? So far, 4, 7, 8 drones go down. As we barely break into the natural, we go for the hatchery. Oh my god! The hatchery was low from earlier, from the Lings. Two volleys, and that was it. The base goes down. Lambo down to 2 bases. Ay, ay, ay. I was not expecting that. As behind this, Shin, he's getting into his own mutas. They're on the way. Looking at the muta count, even. 11 versus 11. And Shin, he does come across the 4th base. Shin finds himself with an economic lead, with an even army, better upgrades. Ooh, Ling speed on the way, which means Shin, I believe he does want to go mass muta. The era of roaches have come and gone. It's all about mutas and Lings. Here we go. Shin, he's already got a massive muta flock. With the help of these queens, he's going to be able to hold on. At the same time, Lambert, he does go for a bit of a run by. Alas, he is being caught out. The Lings are slow, so they're having a hard time keeping up, but This is not a fight that Lambo can take. Ugh, GG gets called. He gets caught out, and Shin takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very a very close game there from Shin, as he was able to barely hit that timing with those roaches as the mutas were coming out. He barely broke through. And remember, that natural base from Lambo, it was already at less than half HP from the Lings earlier, from the Lings at the start of the game. And that allowed Shin to break through, get a snipe on the base, cripple the economy, and buy enough time to get into his own mutas, to mass muta as well, and actually overcome the muta count of Lambo, and catch him out in the end. GG, well played. Very nice kind of adaptation out of Ragnarok. Not just that, but bearing in mind that both players were doing a great job at scouting each other. Like Ragnarok, he knew of the timing of the Spire, he knew when he had to attack, he knew when the mutas would come out, and it was all just very crisp. And if he had waited any longer, then he would never have found that much damage. He would have never broken through. So, very decisive move out of Shin, and I didn't think it would pay off, but it did. It barely did. GG. With that, Shin does take a lead, and again, Shin, he is the ace player of Mystery Gaming. He is a world-class player. He's one of the best Zergs in South Korea, so he is the one to really set a pace and also take the lead here for his team. The rest of these matches are going to be a little bit more difficult for them, but here we go. In the top right, we have Lambo for Shopify. In the bottom left, we have Shin for Mystery Gaming. Well, I see in the chat, Shin equals Ragnarok. Yes, yes. If it wasn't clear, Ragnarok, he has rebranded. He has changed his ID, changed his name to Shin. Officially, I should say. Ooh, as Lambo is going for a 15-15. My, oh my. Okay, interesting. Oh, God. I'm all kinds of sick. But yeah, it's going to be a 15-15 opener here from Lambo. It's 15 hatch into a 15 sporting pool. Into, I imagine, delayed gases. Meanwhile, Shin is going for a hatch gas pool opener. So, economic opener out of Shin. Meanwhile, out of Lambo, I believe this is designed to be very safe. And to also be cutting some corners here, just because of how delayed the gases are. This should lead into 2-base roach play. Should. As Lambo is just now getting into his own gas geyser. So this is a very similar concept to what we saw in the previous game, where Shin went pool first. So because he went pool first, because his gases were delayed, it led into 2-base roach, which did come to pass. Likewise, here in this game, because of the 15-15, similar concept, where because the gases are delayed here for Lambo, he should be working towards something a little bit less gas intensive here in the other game, as his link speed will be quite late, and Balins will be quite late as well. For those wondering, the advantage here of a 15-15 is you do get into faster queens. You can gain access to faster links as well if your opponent was cheesing you with a 12 pool or a 13-12. And with your faster queens and with your access to faster links, you can just shut that down and deal with it quite nicely. Basically, it's a very safe opener, and I feel like Lambo assumed that his opponent might be aggressive after taking a lead in the series. I think against a Korean player, it's a wise choice. A lot of the Koreans, especially Ragnarok, they are willing to cheese you once they get a lead. They are willing to be aggressive, so it does make sense here from Lambo. As Shin does scout the opener as well. He's aware of what's going on. You can see that neither player has started link speed, and both players should be working on their walls. And we should be going 2-base roach once again from both players. Overlord, ooh, is going to get hunted down. Supply blocking Lambo here. And there it is. Both players, they throw down their lairs. Walls are on the way. 2-base roach from both Lambo and Ragnarok. Again, it's one of those things where even though Ragnarok opened up hatch gas pool, even though he opened up standard, because his opponent didn't, Lambo has to respect that, and he has to himself go 2-base roach. If he tries to go for a faster 3rd base, then again, he could end up falling behind. And likewise, if he invested into link speed and Baliness and all that stuff, it just isn't quite safe to do. So just chilling here, 2 base v 2 base. Again, despite the differing openers, very similar outcome here in both game 1 and game 2. All 4 gases are being taken for Lambo very quickly. Okay, you have my attention. Are we willing to go 2 base Spire? Gas is now being taken here by Shin. We do have +1 range on the way, but that could just be for show. We could always cancel that. Okay, as Roaches are on the way. And it looks like Lambo is going to be committing here to Roach play. Okay. For a moment there, I was like, yo, are we going for it? No, not quite. So +1 range is on the way. Roach speed as well from Shin. Lambo, he's going to be delaying his own Roach speed in favor of a 3rd base. But he shouldn't be delaying his Roach speed for too much longer, as the Overseer does dip into the main. Again, getting confirmation of the gases, the layer timing, and any hidden spires as well. Again, as we mentioned in the previous game, it's very important that you confirm this, just because your opponents, at any moment, they could fake out 2 base Roach and rush into Mutas, or even try to rush into Hydras or something crazy like that. You need to be aware. And Ragnarok is able to scout. Again, both players working towards their 3rd bases, both players are droning. Now, unlike Golden Aura, the rush distance by ground is a lot longer on this map, so it's a little bit more difficult to be as aggressive and as decisive as the previous game. You do have speed zones, which can help in fights, but overall rush distance is longer. Ooh, as the Overseer is caught out. Oh my god. Just barely escapes though. And here we go, Shin cutting workers very early on. Oh my god. Despite the rush distance, he is sending it. Shin, he cuts workers at 44. 2 base saturation. He doesn't drone his 3rd. Meanwhile, Lambo, he did. By 10. Lambo, he's up 10 workers, and that means he's down in army supply. And here we go, Shin, he's coming in. Pushes in towards the 3rd base. Biles, they force back the army, and Shin, he's snowballing out of control, and this may just be it. Lambo caught with his pants down, caught droning a bit too much. The queens are falling one after the other, and Shin, he is breaking through. Again, Shin, he was doing a great job at scouting his opponents. Lambo, a little bit less so. Lambo, he wasn't able to confirm saturation at the 3rd base. He's coming in from behind. He wants those Ravagers. He will get one. He will get both Ravagers, but Lambo will lose his Roach Warren. So, a good pickoff, but not going to be enough. GG gets called, and Shin will take the series 2-0. A strong start for Mystery Gaming. GG. That was a classic Korea versus Europe ZVZ. A lot of the Europeans often complain about how the Koreans, they're so willing. Like, I say Koreans, players like Dark, Ragnarok, Solar, they are so willing to cut workers at inopportune times, like at 41 or 44 or 55. They're so willing to just see like an opening, they quickly cut workers, and they just bam, they just go for the roaches, go for the push, and they catch you droning. And it's a very delicate dance. It's very difficult to keep an eye on your opponent to make sure that that isn't happening. And yeah, with that, GG, well played. Shin will take it in the end at 2-0, and a strong start for Mystery Gaming. But this is where Shopify can fight back. But this isn't the bunny that. This isn't the bunny of old, unfortunately, and I hope that we get to see more of him. I said this before. I said this about the Clangnome Freaks, and this is also applicable to Bunny as well, about how now that he's in Codes, now that he's also playing in World Team League, I hope that we see more of Bunny. I hope that he becomes more active, that he invests more time, and we see him play in KS features of this map. We're just diving on in the top left-hand corner of Shopify. For Shopify Rebellion, we have Byun, the ace player. And in the top right, we have a Bunny for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. Now, I do think that Bunny can shine the brightest here in TVTs. He already showed... Oh my god. We've already seen that before, but before we can talk about like a more macro game and the positional play of what TVT is, we have Byun going for a proxy 2 racks. A bold move, a very bold way to open up this series. Meanwhile, Bunny opening up double gas. Best case scenario for Bunny. If Bunny had gone for a Rax expand, he would be in a lot of trouble. Bunny would be in a lot of danger, but as we can see, there's that second gas geyser, which means we're going to be going for a factory before CC, which means Bunny has to survive long enough to get his first Hellion. That is the goal here. Bunny, he has to recognize what's happening, pull some SCVs, keep his first Reaper alive, and if he can survive long enough for that first Hellion to pop out, Bunny will survive, and he can force a longer game. He could even take this game. So a risky move out of Bjorn, but it will come down to the execution, to the micro, to the control of our two players. As there's that factory now in production for Bunny. He's getting a scouting scouting depot over on the left-hand side of his base. It is on the way. The SCV scout of Bunny will not scout or will not find or come across this. So can he react in time? Oh, his Reaper moves out. And thankfully he doesn't get caught, but the Reaper will not be at home to defend. We are looking at EPM for... I don't we have the EPM. But Bunny, he moves out. Bold move. The Reapers move in. Bunny getting a CC on location, and his factory is going to be delayed. This may just be game. SCVs are falling left and right. We needed that Reaper back at home. 3 SCVs go down. The factory barely finishes. But this is already becoming too much. A 4th SCV goes down. Hellion is on the way. Meanwhile, across the map, we can see Bunny also getting some kind of damage himself. But, oh god! Almost does get surrounded. But Bunny, he lost 6 workers. 7, 8! And he cancelled the natural base as well. Bjorn taking a solid lead here in this game. Very unfortunate for Bunny to move out with his Reaper. I say unfortunate, very greedy. Like, we've talked about this all the time, but you never move out with your first Reaper in TVT. It is such a risky thing to do, and Bunny was punished hard for it. SCVs going down left and right. And this is already game-ending damage. Like, this is... Bunny, he's down to 13 SCVs against the 20 of Bjorn. And at this point, Bunny's he's all in at this point. Like, what? Like, he doesn't have a CC. Down in workers. He still has that one Reaper, and, you know, he's putting in the work. If we can get some more workers, then maybe. He's gonna get a 6th, actually. Oh my god. Mate, this one Reaper is the MVP for... It's keeping him in the game. 7 kills. 1 Reaper. You can see Bjorn, he's shaking his head on cams. Bjorn not happy about this Reaper. Finally, the Hellion arrives. 9 kills for 1 Reaper. Oh my god. That 1 Reaper of Bunny did almost the equivalent of this proxy 2 racks of Bjorn, which is crazy. The Hellions have arrived. The pressure is now on Bjorn. He takes down 1 Hellion. Almost takes down another. He forces his way up the ramp, but Bjorn, he should lose everything here. Yeah, the Hellion volleys are too good. And Bunny is in this. Oh my god. I can't believe it. I can't believe that 1 Reaper did so much damage. Now suddenly the worker counts are pretty even. Bjorn is still slightly ahead. Slightly though. And we can see Bunny, he's getting a CC on location. So is his opponent. We're getting into our game. Bjorn, he was hoping to kill with this, and he should have. Like, this, he did so much with the proxy 2 racks, but Bunny fights back, and Bunny, he's bouncing back. All right, we need to settle on in. Of course, both players are still vying for map control. Things are still a bit on a knife's edge, especially if Bjorn or Bunny moves out, but for the most part, we're staying back at home. We're chilling. Starport's on the way. Bunny ahead in tech because of his opener. Bear that in mind. Bunny, with his double gas, not spending it on Reaper production, he's able to get into a faster starport. Additional Cyclones on the way. Tank now on the way as well. So Bunny will be ahead in tank production. Ooh, but the Reapers, they get back into the main base. They get another SCV. They force so much mining time lost. 2 more SCVs. Beyond securing his worker lead. But again, Bunny has the tech lead. And he's moving out. He wants to flex that. He has tanks. Beyond does not. Okay, this move out, you have to be very careful with it. Beyond does have control of the Zonaga. Bunny, he's going to be rotating around that Zonaga instead. It takes a little bit longer, but he will go unscattered. And he is looking to take control of the natural, and I think he can. With these tanks, he has potential. Now, Beyond, he has his own tank, seconds away from coming out. The Cyclones are also in position. If Bunny isn't careful, he can be focused down. Here we go. Up! The Cyclones, they are revealed. Tank gonna be seizing it. The boys, they have to be pulled. Ooh. 3, 4 SCVs go down. The tank within range of the CC. But Beyond comes in with his own tank. And he will hold. But Bunny is not done. He comes in with a second tank, getting into position. Moving towards that natural, and Beyond can't quite reach. Oh, a lot of hits coming in. Viking does arrive, and that will zone Bunny away. But we are denying so much mining time, even forcing the natural to lift. Behind this, Bunny, he's happily mining on 2 bases. We have a Raven on the way. Beyond shaking his head. Oh, God. Here we go. He has to commit. He does have to commit, and the tanks, they unsiege in time. They back off. Raven's on the way. Give us some auto turrets. One auto turret is thrown down. The Viking goes down as well. Beyond does not clean this up. And Bunny stands his ground. Again, a disastrous follow-up here from Beyond. And Bunny's getting a bit out of control. Liberator does come in. And Bunny now regains control of his own natural. Beyond working on additional Vikings, so is Bunny. And you can see Bunny backing off at this point. Now he knows he can't quite threaten the natural, but he can contain. That's what he's going to be relying on. He can contain, even looking to take his 3rd CC on location as well. Okay. Bunny, he's pitched his tent outside the natural. Beyond taking his 3rd CC in his main. Liberator coming in for some harass. Ooh, do we have any anti-air? Late reaction out of Bunny. 3, 4 SCs, 5 SCVs go down. Just like that. Beyond, he's back in it. In one move, one lib does tie up the worker count. Does give Beyond a 4 worker lead. So again, good moves here out of Beyond. Fighting back, bouncing back. But this is still quite neck and neck. Oh my god, we just commit! We do disable both those tanks, and Bunny is within range. Well, quick on siege from Beyond. He only loses one of his tanks. But Bunny pushing on even closer. Delaying his 3rd CC by quite a lot to make this happen. God, he has 5 tanks. Jesus. Did research that disable. We have additional Liberators on the way for Beyond. He has to wait a couple more seconds. The tank edging on closer. Oh, yeah, Beyond, he was within range. Takes down a tank. Good move out of Beyond. Raven goes down. The Viking, I believe, has arrived. Sorry, the Liberator has arrived. And with it, Bunny should be forced back. Oh, yo, we're gonna go in! We disable the lib! Let's go! Oh my god, we can't commit though. We can't push in. But the Vikings, they do push forward. Bunny can't quite break this position yet. Additional Vikings are on the way. Yeah, Beyond getting caught out. Trading 1 for 1. Oof. Cyclone does go down for free as well. And as all this is happening, Bunny, he's taking his third. Oh, the Raven! One shot away from going down. Bit of an overextension from a Bunny. Gonna be losing his Vikings. With that Viking count being reset, Bjarne could try to go into a Liberator once again. Tanks are resieging within range. Yeah, one of them is within range. Bunny slow to scan. They trade 1 for 1 when it comes to tanks. Bunny able to mine from his natural. He's working on upgrades as we speak. This still feels very close though. Ooh, as Bjarne overextends, loses a tank. Bunny, he's like on the edge, on the brink of breaking Bjarne here and now. Vikings will be trading. Bjarne taking a better fight in the end. Better control. Vikings, they get within range. But we scan just in time. Bunny takes down a tank. That was very close. And now, yeah, we're pushing on in. Auto turrets are thrown down. The boys are being pulled. They have to be, but it looks like Bunny should have enough to break this position. The tanks go down. The SCVs as well. And Bunny has done it. Oh my god. Bjarne going for a counter drop. Oh my god, the Hail Mary play. As he loses his natural, he's hoping to maybe cripple the economy here, but GG gets called. It's not going to be enough. And Bunny takes game 1. Oh my god. After a very rough start, Bunny, he lost 11 SCVs. He lost 11 workers to the proxy 2-racks of Bjarne. It was disastrous. It was a disastrous start for Bunny, but the one MVP Reaper got across the map, killed 9 SCVs of Bjarne, which equalized. It meant that the openers were fairly even. It actually put Bunny ahead. He was down in SCVs, but he was up in tech after the start of the game, and he was able to clean up all those Reapers. He was able to do some counter damage. Shocking. Crazy. Oh my god. What Bunny was able to accomplish with that one Reaper did keep him alive in that game and gave him a chance, and he took that chance and he ran with it. And this is a disastrous start for Shopify. I mentioned before that for Lambo to lose his series against Ragnarok was a little bit more expected, because Ragnarok, he is the ace player of Mystery Gaming. He's the strongest player on the team, so it would have been difficult for anyone to go up against him other than like an ace v ace. And this series was supposed to be the reverse, the inverse, where Bjarne comes in as the favorite. Bjarne comes in looking to 2-0, and to drop a map, suddenly there's so much more pressure on Bjarne here to fight back, and it's looking scary. And in the top right, we have Bjarne for Shopify. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner for Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. One game. If Bunny wins this game, that's it. It's over. Mystery Gaming will win. Bunny needs one more for his team. And Bjarne needs to win this game here to give his team a chance to force an ace match. And that's the most that he can hope for here, is to force an ace match if he wins this game, and then giving Scarlet the reins in the next series. Let's go. What is this ELO? ELO is based on the players' performances in WTL. And in Kung Fu Cup as well. In WTL and Kung Fu Cup. Only those events. It doesn't take into account like GSL or EPT or anything like that. But here we go. Getting into our openers. Bjarne going for a double gas opener. Bjarne going for a 2-racks opener, actually back at home. For those wondering, this is designed to hard counter a proxy 2-rack. So Bjarne, he's taking a bit of a risk here. He's assuming that Bunny is cheesing him. Meanwhile, Bunny is opening up Racks Expand. Economic opener out of Bunny. Crazy. Very, very bold move. But a Racks Expand, only a single gas opener out of Bunny. He's being very greedy. Meanwhile, Bjorn is being very safe. Now, what I should say is that even though Bjorn, this opener, this build is designed to hard counter cheese, you can also turn this on its head and be aggressive with this. So Bjorn is moving out across the map. He's going to have additional Reapers to work with as well. And it's going to be a little bit difficult here for Bunny to defend, just because of his greedy opener, because of his CC exposed on the low ground. We'll see if Bunny can actually maintain control of his natural and actually get his base up and running. Oh, Bunny has to be careful not to overextend. Oh, Bunny, he does overextend. The first Reaper goes down. Was not expecting. Yeah, you can see Bunny shake his head on cams, sighing a little bit. And Bjorn, he fights back. He will delay the CC. Boys have to be pulled. Marine in position, but this is a big delay on the natural base. This means that Bunny, even though he went for an economic opener, he will not actually have that come to fruition. And this may snowball into a victory, by the way. These Reapers are getting a lot of damage done. A lot of lost mine time. There's one Marine holding the line. We have to wait a little bit longer here for additional Marines. 5 SCVs, 6 SCVs. This is just getting out of hand, out of control. There we go. 2 more Marines. They come out just in time. But this is such a lead that Bjorn has found himself in. There we go. The Cyclone arrives, and with the Cyclone, Bunny can finally regain control of the natural, but Bjorn now has a 5 worker lead. And what I will say though is that Bjorn, his natural base is very delayed. It's a very delayed expansion here from Bjorn, so even though he killed a lot of workers, Bunny should be able to recover a lot of that here with his double SCV production. So Bunny isn't out of this, but I would give Bjorn the slight edge here overall. As we're getting into additional Cyclones, and again, that was a really scary moment for Bunny. Things escalated very quickly out of control after he lost his first Reaper. And Bjorn, he did not stop Reaper production. He wants a Cyclone! He wants it, and he will get it. Oh no, oh my, he will not! Oh my god, the Cyclone barely survives! Getting more DPS in, and Bjorn, you can see him shake his head on cams. He loses everything. That Cyclone should be dead. One shot. That Cyclone was one shot away from going down, and Bjorn didn't get it. Ay, ay, ay. And now we have a repair. Bunny holds. Bunny still behind in workers a little bit. He's still recovering. And you can see to catch back up, Bjorn, he's going for a very fast third TC. Makes a lot of sense. So Bjorn, he knows that this isn't like the most ideal opener that he could have hoped for, so he's trying to extend this and get a stronger lead. Going for that third TC. Bunny, though, moving out, catching the army. Up! Oh my, that pickup! No! It was a hot pickup, but we blundered in the end. The medevac goes down, a Cyclone as well. And Bjorn does outtrade Bunny, just barely. That was sick, though. That was cool. As the boys are pulled, they will top up that Cyclone. Tank is in position, but this position isn't as strong as Bunny would have liked. Liberator has arrived, and Bunny should be looking on siege. Oof. As he takes some too many hits, and oh god, no! Bunny will lose a tank. Too many losses here for Bunny. A tank essentially for free. Doesn't get a tank of his opponents, and yeah, Bunny has to back off. He has to give up on this position, and Bunny is going for a 2-base all-in. That is a second starport. Oh boy. Okay, so for those wondering, with a second starport, you're going to be going into an abundance of Vikings. You're going to have map control. Sorry, you're going to have air control as the tank is in position, and you're going to be able to flex and transition into Liberators as well. There is no follow-up though, as the Vikings, they do zone away that medevac. Oh, barely not getting it. But Bjorn is forced back. But yeah, essentially Bunny, he's just going to be going into mass flanking, eventually into Liberators, to force his way into the natural and into the main. Bunny, though, losing another tank. That is 2 tanks now. It's becoming too much. Liberator bought a lot of time in the main base. Bunny walking into siege tanks once again. Bjorn just constantly punishing him. And I don't believe Bjorn is aware of the all-in, to be fair, but like he's just being so active, so aggressive, and he's doing such a great job at chipping away at the army of Bunny. That evac finally goes down. But again, Bunny, he's been bleeding out units, and there we go, third TC is on the way. A very late third TC from Bunny. I don't think he had planned on expanding, but because of how much he's lost, I kind of agree here with Bunny that I don't believe that the 2-base all-in can work anymore. I think it's too far gone at this point. Bjorn just macroing out of his mind. And Bjorn is able to get away with his third base. Bjorn scanning the third of Bunny. I'm sure he's happy to see it. See how late it is. And we stim on forward. Bjorn looking to dive on top of another tank and the Liberator as well. Bunny losing almost everything here. And from this position, I mean, Bjorn, he is looking to take this game. He's looking to give his team a fighting chance. Much more of a dominant performance here. I say dominant performance. Likewise, Bunny was also being a little bit careless when it came to his pushes and his positioning. Again, he lost so many tanks here in the lead up to this moment. So many tanks. Again, initially he was going for a 2-base all-in, and now he has to go for a late third. He's just perpetually behind in the army and the economy. We do have that massive amount of Vikings that we were working towards, but is it really going to be able to do much of anything? With denying mining time, and Bjorn pushing towards the third base as well. Boys are being pulled. 10 SCVs do go down. Bjorn also bleeding out a couple units himself, to be fair. Does bleed out a couple units. Vikings are landing. But Bjorn, once again, out trading, out positioning Bunny. Denying the third base even longer. Meanwhile, Bjorn, he's got his fourth on the way. Scan into the main, just to get a read on what exactly is going on. Getting a read on the position of himself and how far behind he is. GG gets called. It's just too much. He can be an unpredictable found our players, and here we go. Scarlet's going to be coming out first here for next for Shopify. And likewise, we do have Strange as well. I believe this is the first season where Strange is in WTL, if I'm not mistaken. One of the first seasons. And he does have a lot of potential as a player. I do say that. A very interesting pickup as well from Mystery Gaming to go for Strange. I do think he can be a valuable asset, but does he have the consistency he needs to go up against a player of the caliber of Scarlet? We're here to find out. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta, we have Scarlet for Shopify Rebellion. And spawning in the top left, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. Oh, the pressure is on. But again, I'm sure Scarlet, she is very experienced when it comes to being a pro player. Has been in the hot seat for many, many years. Many a time. At this point, I'm sure. No pressure at all. Like any other day. My eyes, for the most part, are on Strange. Again, we have seen a lot of peculiar playstyles out of Strange when it comes to his PvP and even PvZ as well. What I mean by that is that we've seen some all-ins that we don't really get to see too often, whether they're charge-based or immortal-based. Strange, he does, you know, think outside the box, or at least outside of the meta. So he can be unpredictable in that way. We've already seen that play out throughout this season of WTL. Even in the 2 weeks that we've had it, Strange has provided some very interesting games. But we'll see if that continues to be the case, as Scarlet is going for a hatch gas pull. Standard opener. Nothing too crazy when it comes to the openers, at least from either player. But it's not the openers that we're looking for, it's the tech afterwards, into the mid-game. Does Strange go for a Twilight Council, a Stargate, a Robo even? Or a double gate opener? He can do it all. Oh, higher, Poppy. Oh. Strange would have been nice as Doctor Strange in the movies. It's hard. It's hard. I need to stop myself from saying Doctor. He is just Strange. As there we go, the Cyber Core is done. The Warp Gate is delayed, which is a sign that it should be a Stargate opener. And there we go, Stargate is in production for Strange. So everything is looking normal for the time being. Everything is looking as it should. We'll see if we go for something like a Void Ray first or a Phoenix first to hide our build and to hide the tech. Or if we play straight up. And if we do decide to play straight up, I mean, that's a bold move out of Strange. Because Scarlet has been looking strong here recently. Of course, it was last week where she played in GSL, where we casted Scarlet in GSL, and where she was able to overcome Maru of all players, looking very strong in ZVT. Of course, ZVP is a different matchup, definitely, and Scarlet has been vocal about this matchup in the past. But I'm sure that the work that she's been putting in will also be reflected in this matchup as well. Of course, a lot of players are grinding at the moment in the lead up to ESL Masters Winter, as ESL Masters Winter will begin next week. Next week will be the regionals for Americas, Asia, and Europe as well. So a lot of StarCraft is on the horizon, and a lot of these pro players are getting in form and getting in shape for it, as it is one of the last major events of the year. Is one of those events that does matter most. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Stargate opener. Oracle first, into a third base, into a second Oracle. This is looking normal. Oh my god. Strange. He's playing standard. He's going against his namesake, Bobby. What's going on? Yeah, no, this is just as standard as standard can get here from Strange. Of course, Scarlet still has to confirm this. Second Oracle has arrived. Behind this, we should be seeing a Twilight Council and a Forge as well. Oh, never mind. That is a Robo first. Okay, so with a Robo follow-up, this is going to be more tech-heavy instead. Interesting. Okay, so a couple of things are happening. One, Strange is going for a Robo follow-up instead, which means he gains access to faster Robotics Bay. It means it goes into faster Robo production in general. The Oracles do get across the map, and we do not have a Roach Warren. We have a Bailey Nest instead. So it's going to be Ling Bane here from Scarlet. Adepts, they do rock in, but Scarlet keeps up. Lings do shut them down. As I say that, one drone falls, but only one, as the Adepts do get cleaned up. Meanwhile, the Oracles did no damage. You can see here only one drone fell. So very solid defense here from Scarlet. +1 melee's on the way. This is looking like Scarlet wants to go Ling Bane Hydra. Otherwise, we would have seen a Roach Warren by now. And there it is. Lair is in production. So this is a popular composition that has been on the rise recently. Has been really cool to see a lot more Hydra play from our pro players. Meanwhile, Strange, interesting. With that Robo follow-up, he is getting into Immortal production really early on, which is what I expected. What I didn't expect is the lack of Twilight Council. This is an all-in. As the observer is pointing out, sentries are warping in. We have a gateway explosion as well. I believe 6 gates in total. If we throw down 2 more, it's going to be an 8-gate all-in. And the War Prism is now on the way as well. So this is very old school, very Parting-esque, like a Soul Train. Without Ravagers, we're going to have a hard time defending. Thankfully, Scarlet is getting a safety Roach Warren. If she was going Ling Bane Hydra, she would be in trouble because she wouldn't have access to Ravagers to deal with those force fields. And Strange is going to be relying a lot on said force fields. And here we go. The move out is upon us. And Scarlet does scatter ahead of time. There we go. Roaches are in production. 5 on the way. Roach speed +1 melee still on the way as well. Scarlet, will she have enough of an army here to survive? Bailings are being morphed in. Strange is taking his time pushing through the center. And he does have a lot of force fields available. We don't have any Ravagers yet. The Queens are coming in, but force fields are going to be king here. Yes, we can just slice up the army. The Bailings, they will not connect. They're completely zoned away. The army pushing on forward. Queens are going to be going down. The Ravagers are arriving, but there are so many force fields. Oh my god. The Bailings, they finally do crash in. They connect with the sentries. But the Immortal is doing so much damage in the back line. Oh my god! The Vials! The Vials, they take down the Immortal, and that may just be it. More Stalkers are coming in. Stasis Trap is baited out. Ling's coming to reinforce, and Scarlet, she's holding. Once again, the Biles do connect. That was crazy. If she hadn't killed the Immortal then and there, this could have been so different. But Scarlet shuts down the army. She holds, and now she's getting into Roach speed, Bailing speed, all the upgrades. Scarlet is looking strong. That was a bit of a blunder out of Strange. As the Immortal just took all those Biles to the face, went down instantly, and that was his moment. That was his moment to break Scarlet then and there. Now, thankfully, Strange, his worker count is solid. He's up to 71 workers. Now, what Strange doesn't have is tech. Twilight Council and Forge are still on the way. Because of this build from Strange, because of the delayed Twilight Council, delayed Forge, like, he is pretty far behind. The quality of his army is lacking, and Scarlet knows that. She's working through these rocks, working on her push. Meanwhile, big shout out to Jadoff in the chat. Oh, the mech master himself. 23 months, almost 2 years. Gracias, papi, gracias. Do appreciate it. But Scarlet is pushing out, and you can see here Scarlet just snowballing out of control. Again, that move out from Strange was very committed. He needed to do more damage, more economic damage. Alas, Strange is now up against the wall. Natural base is being broken. The army heads towards the third base. Baileys, they roll in. There is a lot of stack defense, but there's not going to be enough. They get into the mineral line. GG gets called, and Scarlet takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. And this is what I was talking about. Strange is a strange player. And how many players do you know that goes Stargate Opener into a third base, into double Oracle, into a Robo without a Twilight Council, and we go for one big, like, Soul Trade Immortal Sentry push? You know, like, that is so quirky and so offbeat and off meta, and because of that, it's supposed to catch players off guard. Like I mentioned before, if Scarlet didn't throw down a Roach Warren, if she was cutting corners and going Ling Hydra or Ling Bane Hydra, different game. Would have been a completely different game, and Strange could have killed Scarlet then and there. Thankfully for Scarlet, she did throw down a safety Roach Warren, and as soon as she saw the army, Roaches were on the way, Ravagers were on the way, she was able to muster up just barely a defense to hold on, to survive, and surviving is all she had to do to snowball out of control, just because of the corners that Strange had cut and the tech that he had avoided to work towards that push. GG, well played. Oh, and with that, we are one step closer to an ace match. One step closer. Scarlet, she needs to win this next game here and now to force Game 7. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have Scarlet for Shopify Rebellion. And spawning in the top right, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. Down in this series, but can still fight back and take it all for his team. Is this live? The cast is live. The matches were played over the weekend. For those that are tuning in, if you're curious, we were, of course, casting over the weekend. We were covering the ESL Masters qualifiers, 14-hour cast days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Long cast, papi, long cast. But we had to make a choice because we casted the qualifiers. We couldn't cast WTL. World Team League was actually at the same time as the Asia qualifiers. So obviously we prioritized the Asia qualifiers. That is where our priorities lie. And it means that we missed out on WTL. So we are doing a catch-up stream here. Yesterday we casted day 1. Today is day 2. Tomorrow is day 3, catching up on round 3 of WTL. And then on Friday, we'll be casting WTL live with round 4. So these matches were played on Saturday, over the weekend. And of course, we weren't able to watch it because we were casting. We were casting at a different tournament at the time. Oh, so I'm ready for it. Here we go. And so far, Hatch Gas Pool. Hatch Gas Pool opener here from Scarlet. It's catching up. And likewise, Strange going for a Gate Expand into a Cybercore as well. Almost 2 years, right? It doesn't feel like that long, Jadoff. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, but yeah, it's crazy. You know, uno más, papi. One more month. 2 years. Crazy. Long time. Long time. Oh. Yeah, so far, again, strong start here from Scarlet. Working. Oh my god, working towards game 2, and now we have our take of choice. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted. I'm just catching up with the chat and all that good stuff. But yeah, we have a Twilight Council opener, so Strange going to be far more aggressive here in game number 2 instead. With this Twilight Council, we can, of course, go into Glaive Adepts. We could go for a DT opener instead. We have pulled out a gas, so this is looking like Glaive Adepts from our Protoss. Now, interesting. We are going up to 3 gates, so this is something that we have seen Strange do before. This is a different variation of Glaives, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, 4 gateways. So 4 gateways, but there's no Robo. Yeah, there is no Robo, so we actually don't have a Warp Prism with this. We won't be able to reinforce. We're going to be warping in the Adepts back at home and sending them across the map. Now, because there's no Robo and because there's no Warp Prism, this does mean that this is a little bit more, or we will have a couple of extra Warp-ins, I believe. I think this is going to be a little bit more aggressive in a way. I say in a way. We can't reinforce, so I'm pretty sure Strange is going to be expanding a lot faster behind this. Pretty sure he will be expanding faster, and Scarlet has a greater chance here to actually recognize what is going on. There we go, there's that third base. Already thrown down. And can Scarlet get a read of what is going on? Because that third base is taken, that is, I'm pretty sure, designed to mask what this really is. But Scarlet, she has plenty of Lings on the way. I don't think she has a Roach Warren, though. Uh-oh. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of Roach Warren. Lings, they do come in, and they're going to be dancing with these Adepts, but they cannot really engage. Here we go. Another 4 Adepts are morphing in. They're going to be zooming across the map. Scarlet's droning, by the way. Uh-oh. No Roach Warren. She's droning. The Lings now finally catch wind of what's going on. And Strange is sending everything across the map. The Queens are coming together. We have to try to somehow gather up a defense here. But things are not looking good for Scarlet. The Adepts, they shade into the natural. Lings are in position, but Lings are going to melt against this. The Adepts, they do go ham. The Queens are putting in a lot of work. Drones are going down, and we do commit to the shade. Oof. 8 drones go down in total, and we can get more as we shade back in towards the natural. This is already a good amount of damage, but we want some more, and we will shade into the natural base. Lings are waiting, though, and it looks like we will clean up these Adepts. Scarlet will survive, losing 8 workers in total. Scarlet is behind in the worker count in general, so she does have to catch up. Lair's on the way. We're droning heavily. Scarlet isn't out of this, but her economy has been hindered. Has been crippled. Ah, no. As another Adept does shade in towards that third. Getting one more drone. Behind this, Strange, he's taking up into a Forge and into Blink. A much faster transition this time from Strange. Oh, but a nice catch out of Scarlet. Does take down some more Adepts. But again, Strange, he is ahead in workers. And he should be safe to a counterattack. As it's going to be a bit of a game of catch-up here for Scarlet when it comes to not just droning, but also taking bases and taking up as well. And she was completely off guard by the build of Strange. But she survived. She did survive. Behind this, 4 more gates on the way. We're not taking gases. Uh-oh. This is looking like an 8-gate all-in from Strange. Again, we do have Blink. We're waiting for +1 to kick in. We'll keep an eye on things to see if Strange takes additional gases, but he is... Oh, okay, he takes a base. Never mind. He does take a 4th. He's got charge on the way. But he isn't making any more probes. Which again, I do... Okay, there we go, there we go. 2 more probes on the way. We're good. We do have a committed move out here, don't get me wrong, but there's no way to reinforce. There is still no Robo, there is still no War Prism. He is moving out. We'll see if he can deny this hatchery. Ravagers are going to be cancelled. Scarlet not quite ready for this move out. There we go, the Ravagers, they do finish up in time. Force fields are thrown down. And Scarlet, she's going to be able to take down the sentries at least. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade here for Scarlet, losing mainly Lings here. Losing 1 Roach and 2 Ravagers. But she does hold on to the high ground. She does hold on to that base. Again, Strange being very aggressive here. Pushing onto creep. But he has to respect the army. He has to respect the creep. Especially considering that he doesn't have a War Prism. He doesn't have a way to reinforce on the front lines. So he does back off. Speaking of creep, by the way, speaking of pushing onto creep, Scarlet, she's basically taking control of the map. The creep is looking solid here for Scarlet. At the same time, going for a big link counterattack, but I believe there are Zealots in position. Yeah, there are Zealots here. 2 workers go down, but Scarlet is forced back as she's committing to a Ling Bane Roach Ravager composition. Oh, we are setting up for a Baneling run by. So far, Scarlet holding onto the ramp. Oh, a bit supply blocked. 8 Overlords on the way. Behind this Strange, he's working towards a second Robo and a Bay for Colossi, for Disruptors. And the Zealot run by does turn around. Oh, does have to deal with these Zealots. Not the best cleanup, but the Zealots do go down. And it's Strange gaining ground here on the left-hand side. He does dive on the Ravagers. 1, 2, 3 Ravagers go down, and the Queens as well. Scarlet bleeding out too much. Bleeding out a lot of units. With reinforcements, she should be able to hold on though. Again, I do think it's really fortunate that Scarlet doesn't have to worry about a War Prism. Like, Strange, he has 1,000 minerals in the bank and he isn't warping in. Strange, he has been missing warp-ins. His macro has been slipping. He has charge, bear that in mind. We should be seeing Zealot warp-ins, but we have been missing them. With that, Scarlet, she holds. Going to be able to drone up. And Scarlet will soon max out. Now, this max out push from Scarlet, I believe it's going to coincide with these 2 Colossi. So there will be 2 Colossi to defend. Depending on the angle of attack, Strange could either defend or he could lose the base. It depends kind of whether we go for the natural, the 3rd, or the 4th. And where exactly the Colossi are going to be stationed. As Strange is pushing onto creep, and Scarlet setting up for a surround. Does get eyes on the would-be 5th. Is going to be committing to a counterattack here, revealing some of her army. And forcing Strange to rotate over. That is going to create an opening here on the right-hand side. Yeah, and Scarlet is headed in that direction. Going for that 4th. Colossi are busy in between the natural and the 3rd. But there is a lot of cannons, a lot of attack defense. There we go, the Colossi have been spotted and Scarlet pushes in. She dives on that 4th base. She is going to be bleeding out some units here towards the left, but she breaks in. 19, 20 probes go down. Massive connections in the mineral line. At the same time, a Zealot run by in towards the 4th base of Scarlet. Drones are also falling. Not just the 4th, but also the 3rd. Both players are going to be hurting, but this is a big blow to Scarlet as, oh my god, they even get into the main and the natural as well. But that's a kill on the Nexus. Things are getting very chaotic, and Scarlet may have lost too much as Strange is forced to go for a counterattack. Pushing in with 2 Colossus with extended thermal lance. A 3rd Colossus coming in as well. But as this takes a little bit longer, Scarlet, she's getting more reinforcements. We have 15 Roaches in production. Another Zealot run by, catching a base. And Strange does have to back off. Does have to rotate around. He does manage to kill a hatchery. Not too bad. Hatchery does fall, but Scarlet is still on the cusp of maxing out. On a relatively low worker count, but there we go. She's going to be droning. She's waiting for 2-2. Hive is done. Adrenal on the way. And once again, a similar story where Scarlet has 2 armies going to be threatening these fringe bases. And the Colossi, they can only be at one place at once. Here we go. The Baileys, they do roll in, and Robo is looking very vulnerable, very exposed. We recall, but the Colossus, they are within range of the Roach Ravager. The Baileys, they crash in, and the Colossi are going to go down. The first, the second, and the third as well. One Colossus barely survives, but this was not the recall that we were looking for. He just recalls on top of the army, loses almost everything. He will clean up the roaches. But Scarlet has so much more behind that. Scarlet has an economy, pushes into the mineral line as well. 21 perps go down. And Strange, he's just being pulled apart. He's just being pulled left and right, time and time again, down to one Colossi. And it looks like we will get an ace match. We will get into a game 7. Scarlet, she's got Hive upgrades on the way. 3-3. Adrenal now finishes up. And Strange, what he had been building up towards, what he had been working towards, were those 4 Colossi. And now he's down to 1. And he doesn't have the economy to remake them. Doesn't have the economy to sustain himself. Not anymore. And here we go. This may be his last move out of the game. He can take down this base. Scarlet herself out of position, going for a counterattack. And Scarlet may lose the hatchery, but she's going straight for the mineral line here of Strange, crippling the economy even further. Vipers have arrived. Good Blighting Cloud. Barely saving one of them. As we crash on in, the last Colossus barely surviving. And we can clean up this army. Strange didn't have a bad start. The Glaive Adepts, they put in a lot of work. They did put in a lot of work. But again, his macro was slipping, having some inopportune engagements. And being caught out of position more than once. And yeah, you know, Bjorn, he gave Scarlet a chance here to fight back for Shopify, and she more than did. Oh no! Viper is going to get picked off. Strange fighting back. He is fighting back, but what really can he accomplish with this army? We're down to 3, 4 Immortals, 1 Colossus. We can just start a step forward and dive onto the army. GG gets called, and Scarlet will take the 2-0 for herself for Shopify, which means we're going to the ace match. GG, well played. Oh my god. Mate, when Scarlet didn't have a Roach Warren, when the 4-gate Glaive Adept was moving out across the map, I was concerned that was going to be it, that was going to be game. It was going to be over then and there. And damage was done. 8 drones went down. Strange was able to quickly transition into Blink and Stalkers, and Strange took a worker lead. Like, he was ahead. He was straight up ahead after the openers. But when it came to the move outs, when it came to the engagements afterwards, that is where Strange was lacking. That is where he was missing warp-ins. He was slipping up when it came to his macro. When it came to his engagements as well, he was losing a couple too many Stalkers. Scarlet was able to claw her way back in, and GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 7. Here we go. And the question becomes, who comes out? Who comes out in the ace match for both of these teams, for both Shopify and Mystery Gaming? Now, on paper it should be Shin versus Bjorn, right? Like, Shin is the ace player for Mystery Gaming, and Bjorn is also the ace player for Shopify. But because those picks are so obvious, that is where snipes can come in. That is where, if anyone on either team feels confident against Bjorn and Shin specifically, here for while we get ready for the ace match, I do need to take a moment here to actually set up a Zoom call. So take this moment to enjoy the brutal OST. Back soon. We'll be back soon. And we are back. I do apologize for having to go set up a Zoom call, but everything is good. We can focus on our game. And again, thankfully, a nice intermission here as we get ready for the ace match. Really just building suspense, Papi. Building suspense for who does come out. Again, who's it going to be? Now, the ace map is predetermined. It is going to be on Oceanborn. We are diving into the ocean, into Werehog once again. And it's a best of one. One single map to determine how this Team League match goes, whether it goes in favor of Shopify or in favor of Mystery Gaming. It all comes down to one map, to Oceanborn. That is also something that can impact and influence the players, whether we want to field one player or the other can be influential here on Oceanborn as well. And personally, I would be really excited for Bjorn versus Shin. I do think that would be really exciting. It also comes down to like the players and how they feel at the moment, how confident they are. Bjorn, he was having a bit of a harder time against Bunny, and we saw him shake his head a couple times, maybe a little bit frustrated at how that series went. So again, if he's not feeling too hot, maybe they will send out someone else. But here we go. It is, oh my, let's go. It's a rematch. We're getting the ace match here. It's Bjorn versus Bunny. Let's go. Oh my god. Okay, just getting a better image here on who we have. So I do think that this is an intentional snipe. I do believe that obviously Shin is the ace player for Mystery Gaming. Obviously Shin, he is the ace and the strongest player on the team, but I'm sure they had a bit of a discussion. Maybe Shin, maybe he's like, I don't know if I can take down Bjorn in a ZVT on Oceanborn. No shot, no way. Bunny's like, mate, let me finish this off. Let me. I did it once, I can do it again. I took one game of Bjorn, I can take another. And I think I agree. Even though I do think that Shin is more of a well-rounded player, I do want to give the edge here to Bunny when it comes to the chances to bring down Bjorn. And here he is, Bjorn for Shopify in the bottom right. In the top left for Mystery Gaming, we have Bunny. Here we go. Oh boy. But yeah, especially on Oceanborn, I don't know how good the chances of Shin would have been against Bjorn. The rush distance by ground is really short, and it can be really difficult for a Zerg player to establish a fourth base on this map and to get into a longer game, especially against an active player like Bjorn as well. Can be a really difficult thing to do. But we're getting into this TVT. We're getting into technically game 3, the ace match in more ways than one between these two players. We have Bunny going for a double gas opener. We have Bjorn going for a Rax expand. I like it. I like it from Bjorn, especially because in the previous 2 games, if you weren't here for it, game 1, Bjorn went for a proxy 2-Rax. Game 2, Bjorn went for an in-base 2-Rax opener. A very safe opener. So here to go for a Rax expand, to like switch gears and go for an economic opener, I love it. So Bjorn should be able to get away with it. Bunny is going for a safe opener, going for double gas into a delayed expansion with a faster factory. In that way, you could argue that he can be a little bit more aggressive, and that's true. Bunny, he should be able to get map control, but he goes for the SCV scout. He does confirm the CC on the low ground. So coming into this, Bunny is now aware that he's going to be behind economically. He's going to do whatever he can to come to catch back up, and we can see him here just being a little bit annoying, being pesky, and drilling away at that SCV. But he will be backing off, and we'll see how Bunny does respond to this and how he is able to catch his way back up. And yeah, it's been a great series. It's always a treat whenever we go the distance and go to the ace match. It doesn't happen all the time, so whenever it does, we need to cherish it. Cherish it whenever we can. As for now, we do see Bunny going for his own CC after the factory. Again, a delayed CC compared to Bjorn. But Bunny can be a little bit more aggressive once he kicks in with his Hellion production. He's got a reactor on the way on the racks first, working towards his starport. Again, because of the faster gases, Bunny is ahead, or slightly ahead in tech overall. And he is moving out with his first couple of Reapers. Going to be vying for control of the natural base of Bjorn. Yeah, the first two Reapers, have arrived. Oh, bit of miscontrol there from Bunny, taking some extra hits on that Reaper. Thankfully, he does keep it alive. Could have been worse for Bunny. I almost said Bjarni again. Who am I talking about when I say Bjarni? That's up to you to decide. Oh, but I'm not too fond of this. He does push into the mineral line. He wedges himself into that natural as well, and he will be losing this Hellion. He corners himself, and Bjarni should be able to shut this down. The Reaper's full, the Hellion as well. A rough loss there from Bunny. He did get one SCV, but Bjarni cleans everything up. Behind this, Bunny is going to be working towards a Raven. Interference Matrix is on the way. Now, something that I have noticed, and I'm curious if that's going to be a trend that continues. We have had the luxury of casting quite a lot of Bjarni over the past 2 weeks, and in TVT, Bjarni is one of the few players that has actually been avoiding Ravens. With the new patch and with the new update, of course, you do have to research the upgrade to actually have disable on your Ravens. But yeah, Bjarni, he's been avoiding Ravens quite a bit here in TVT, and he's been going for a much more flexible, diverse army with, you know, a more drop-heavy style with Marines, with medevacs, and yeah, it's an interesting move here from Bjarni. He hasn't embraced the new Raven as much as other players have. The Raven, of course, still has a lot of value, as we do see Bunny investing in that upgrade and getting Interference Matrix. With that, you can break siege lines. But in general, in TVT, Bjarni, he doesn't really go for a tank-heavy style. He's mainly focused on a bio army, on Marines. Behind this, faster TC out of Bunny. I do like this as well. This is a way for Bunny to catch up. Because Bunny straight up has a worse economy, or a slightly worse economy than Bjarni in the early game, we go straight for a third TC, go for a faster third in general, to take an economic lead in the mid-game. Meanwhile, instead of a third TC, Bjarni, he throws down 2 more Raxes. 2 more Raxes are thrown down here, so again, we're rushing into Stim. Heavy Marines. Bunny does confirm this, as he dips in and he does see the Marine count. Not really wasting any energy yet. And Bjarni, likewise, he comes in not just to harass, but also to scout. The Liberator does confirm the third base timing, does see it's already done, and it's going to be able to get some SCV damage here in the main base. 1 SCV goes down, and do we have a Cyclone to defend? We have a Viking. Aye, we're good. We have a couple of Vikings. The Liberator is going to get cleaned up, as Bjarni is just focusing on his upgrades, just waiting for his stim to kick in before he can be active on the map, waiting for his medevacs as well, as Bunny catches up in terms of his own production. And Bunny's going to be taking his third base, so we are kind of taking our roles here. Bjarni is the aggressor, Bunny the defender. Bunny has the better economy. His role is to defend his 3 bases to make sure he gets away with his faster third. It's going to be on Bjarni to try to punish that fast third. We'll see if he can. We have Vikings in position behind the third base. So Bjarni has to be very careful with when and where he boosts. If he boosts in, he may lose his medevacs. As he does edge on ever closer here, and Bunny is in position. Bjarni quick to react, boosts away. Oh, the disable does lock the drop down for a moment, but it should be safe. Yeah, it will escape. Oh my god. As Bunny tries to hunt it down, does clean up a lot of Marines, but the medevacs will escape. I do think that was a bit wasteful from Bunny. I think the disable was a little bit premature, especially because here comes the tank army of Bjarni, and this means that we do not have enough energy for disables. Here we go. Bjarni getting within range of the natural base. Gonna be going for the drop. Bunny not in position whatsoever, by the way. Bjarni takes control of the natural. Oh my god. We'll be losing a tank though. Does overextend slightly. At the same time, we do have a double drop coming in on the right hand side. Bjarni trying to pull Bunny apart. And it looks like, oh, Willie. He will take down the tank. Oh my god, he barely will not. Clutch on siege there from Bunny. Very quick moves. Saves his tank in the end. Meanwhile, Bjarni trying to wedge his way in between the bases. And he will be able to siege. He takes down the Marines. And he drops into the main base. He is pulling Bunny apart. Bunny losing a bit too much here. He's only got one tank on the front lines. The auto turrets are thrown down. Bunny, can he hold? As he loses the tank in the end. Marines are cleaned up. And Bjorn should back off from here. He traded well, but oh my god, he's going to commit. Loses the tank in the process, but he wants to force the issue. He wants to snowball out of control. As Vikings are being forced to land. Bjorn just bullying Bunny back here with all these tanks. Drops into the main. We barely have anything to keep up. These Vikings, they just have to keep on landing. More SCVs going down. Bjorn focusing on his main push, trying to get ever closer here to that third. But Bjorn, is he bleeding out too much? Liberators have arrived. Bunny has weathered the storm. He lost, what, 6 SCVs? Barely any. And again, Bunny with that faster third base. He lost a couple of workers, yes, but not enough. Bjorn still behind economically. Behind 10 workers. But he has quite a hefty army. I'm loving this trap. He's behind the tall grass, hoping to catch the army unawares. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bunny has to be very careful with his movement. And it looks like he will bypass the army of Bjorn. Bunny is scanning ahead of time. He's trying to find the third base. So he does move out with his Marines. He keeps his tanks back at home. Bear that in mind. And Bunny, he is just snowballing a bit out of control. He scans once again, making sure that there is no fourth base. I'm sure he's feeling pretty content about this. As suddenly things are swinging more heavily in Bunny's favor. 4th CC on the way for Bunny as well. 4th CC, 2-2 for both players. Bjorn trying to get away with a 4th CC on location. Will not get away with it. Ooh. As Bunny does barely win out on that Marine fight. And here we go. We have a Doom Drop head towards the main base. Can Bunny make it through? It looks like he cannot. There is a depot. There are Marines. Bjorn has eyes everywhere. Now, the depot isn't finished, so he actually doesn't have too much vision with it. It means that Bunny can commit if he wants to, but he will back off. He will back off in the end, and the game will settle down from here. Bunny is going to be the first player to max, as he's getting a 4th base, so again, he's still perpetually ahead economically. But even though he's the first to max, this is still all about positioning. You can be up 20 supply in the TVT, and that will not matter. Oh, that depot does supply block Bjorn. Supply block is real. Tanks are in position, but we drop in towards the third base. Vikings try to slow him down, but they can only do so much. They take down a medevac, but the Marines, they do unload into the main. At the same time, we get a kill on the CC. Bunny, now it's his turn to pull Bjorn apart. Bjorn contained to 3 bases. His entire army came back home. And Bunny has maxed. He's moving out with everything else. Moving out with his tanks. 2-2 is about to kick in for both players. Bunny even working on vehicle upgrades. And it looks like Bunny, he's finding his way in. There are tanks in position, but where are the Marines? They're not here. The tank's unsieged. Tanks, they are on siege. Big anti-armor missile. None of the Marines, no! None of the Marines, and Bjorn, he catches the entire army, cleans up all the tanks. Bjorn, he was down, what, 40 supply? And Bunny, he shakes his head. Ay, ay, ay. Unsieged for one moment. Not like this. All the tanks go down. And now suddenly, Bjorn has momentum. He's pushing everything across the map, not allowing Bunny to remax. Bunny, he needs to buy time. Again, he has the better economy. He just needs time to rebuild once again, but Bjorn, he knows that. He's pushing in even further. Yeah, the Marines are getting out of control. The boys are being pulled. And it looks like Bjorn, he has done it. Oh, Bunny! taking his hands off the keyboard. GG gets called, and Bjarne takes it in the end. He does win it here for Shopify. GG. Well, that was so close. GG, well played. Feels Bunny, man. My heart bleeds a little bit for Bunny because he was winning that game. He was up against the wall. He had clawed his way back in. He was straight up pulling Bjarne apart, and at the end there, Bjarne was all in. Bjarne was completely all in. He dove on the army, caught all the tanks, and had to go for the kill move then and there. GG, well played. Shopify Rebellion will take it, but what I will say, big shout out to Mystery Gaming and a big shout out to Bunny because I'm impressed. Bunny, he is one of those players that is a lot more inactive. Like, we don't get to see Bunny as much as we used to. He doesn't play in too many events. And for Bunny to almost 2-1 Bjarne, to almost take a series here, like, to me, that's impressive. And I look forward to seeing more of Bunny. I'm excited to see more of Bunny. Like, if this is how well he can perform against Bjarne, mate, imagine Bunny in 1-2 more weeks, you know? He's going to be in much better form against the other teams. So keep your eye out. Keep your eye out for Bunny. Things are going to get wild. Things are going to get rowdy. GG. GG, well played. With that, there was no ending music. There was no ending intro. WTL. What's going on? We usually have an outro. It's all good. There we go. But yeah, GG, well played. Congratulations to Shopify Rebellion. That does wrap up our broadcast for WTL for now. But we will have another broadcast in a couple of hours. How much time do we have? Let's see. We have another broadcast in 2 hours time. I have 2 hours to quickly get some food, to get some water, to make some tea, and to get ready. In 2 hours time is the Kung Fu Cup. KFC over on this channel on the CranKy Ducklings. If you are wondering, the hell is KFC? Are we eating chicken? Oh, we could eat some chicken. Kung Fu Cup is another tournament also held by the organizers of WTL by SC Boy, and it is a weekly online event. A weekly bracket, I should say, and it has a crazy prize pool because of the immense prize pool in Kung Fu Cup, and because they pay out so many players as well. The participants are quite intense. Everyone plays in Kung Fu Cup, even Rainer and even Cyril as well. Rainer and Cyril, historically, they don't play in online tournaments. They don't play in they rarely play. Cyril doesn't play at all in the ESL Open Cups. Rainer, whenever he plays Protoss. You know, he off races in the ESL Open Cups. They don't really play in these online weekly tournaments, but Kung Fu Cup is different. You know, I guess because there's a lot more on the line because of the money and the WTL points and everything. There's a little bit more value to be had there, so we do get the best players of Korea, of Europe, of NA, all coming together for the Kung Fu Cups, and it's great to see. It's great to see everyone involved, and it's a pretty stacked tournament and a very stacked bracket. It's always very daunting. It's always, whenever we start up the tournament, it's like, where do we go? There's like four or five really good matches to begin with, and we have to try to like sift our way through and pick and choose. And also we try to spread out because there's usually a lot of coverage. There's like ourselves, Wardy, Rotterdam, Steadfast, like all these other English casters. So we try to spread out as well and cover what we can, and it's a lot of good fun. It is a lot of good fun. So if you're interested, stick around. In 2 hours, we're going to be live with the Kung Fu Cup. Until then, we're going to give another streamer a raid. So give them some love and support, and yeah, give them a chance definitely as well. So we are going to be heading off for a couple of hours, but again, if you want some more StarCraft action, if you aren't satiated, if you aren't satisfied, and if you want some more StarCraft inside you, 2 hours time, Kung Fu Cup, CranKy Ducklings, be there. Be there, pal. Outside of that, yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the broadcast, if you want some more, socials in the chat, and you will get links to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord server as well. All things CranKy Ducklings. If you enjoyed myself, bad. You can follow me at light_VIP. I do stream over on my own personal channel over